Hello and welcome to Good Deeds, the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds. I'm Mark Crosby. Thank you for joining us. We're going to look today at the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds with the Register of Deeds, Bill O'Donnell. We're going to find out some basic information about what your Norfolk County Registry of Deeds does, but we are going to spend most of the time on the website. That would be norfolkdeeds.org. So joining me, as I had promised, Bill O'Donnell, the Register of Deeds for Norfolk County. Bill, welcome back.
Yes, well, thank you very much. As you said, I'm the Register of Deeds. The registry is a government operation that deals with community land records. And, we're going through the website, and on our website, if you, under the banner About, you can see the 28 communities that make up Norfolk County. I'd like to think the mission of the registry was the same as it was when it started. It actually started in 1793. As a matter of fact, the tie I have, it's all the signers of the Declaration of Independence, and one of the signers, John Hancock, was the governor of Massachusetts when Norfolk County was established in 1793. So the Registry of Deeds has been in existence since 1793 in Dedham. We're the fourth location in Dedham, at 649 High Street in Dedham, across from the Gold Dome Superior Court. The four locations, believe it or not, for 3 years it was at the first registers. The books were kept at Captain Elephant Pond's dad's house until the court was built. And the first court was built, and it opened up in 1796 to 1827, and then it went over to the Superior Court, which was opened in 1827. It still exists in Dedham. And the building we're in, it's a beautiful building that's been refurbished and repaired. It started, the groundbreaking was 1903, and it was open for business in 1905. So a lot of records there, and what we've tried to do is modernize the operation, thus our website. If you go to www.norfolkdeeds.org, maybe the mission is the same as it was in 1793, but clearly we're delivering the services differently. And I'm from Norwood. I very much appreciate, and it's a privilege to be Register of Deeds. I'm the 11th Register of Deeds. There's been 11 Registers of Deeds, and I think looking at history, every one of them tried and did leave the registry in a little better place than they found it, and that's what we're trying to do. And I'd like to think our website is an example of that. For the first time on our website, we have Internet Land Record Research, but if you go to our website at www.norfolkdeeds.org, it's an information-based website. For instance, if you go to the top banner and you hit Services, under Services, you can see a lot of information. First of all, I call them the consumer issues. Learn about deed scams. There are groups that prey on people. The Attorney General's office has been involved, where they solicit monies from $60 up to $86 to try to get consumers to pay something that really, if they went directly to the registry, they could get a certified copy of your deed. As a matter of fact, when we do our outreach programs in the communities, we do not charge. Another big question, again under the Services button, is on the homestead. The homestead, it's a way to protect your home. It's a consumer right that's written by the legislators. I'm also an attorney by training. You talk to attorneys, 10 different attorneys, 10 different opinions, but 9.9 attorneys out of 10 would say consumers should get a homestead. And the homestead is for people who are living in a home. It's their home and it's their principal residence. So you're well, if you want to at least get some information on the homestead, you can go to our website, and under the Services button, you can hit the homestead form, and if need be, download a form if you would like. All of us borrow money. And again, under that Services button. And we're very proud that our website is information-based. You can get information on a mortgage discharge. And why that's important is when we all have to borrow money. And when we borrow money, the bank or the lender that we borrowed from records a mortgage on your house. It's recorded at the registry, and it tells the world you owe some money. And I think it's very important when that gets paid off. And sometimes we're lucky enough to pay it off. Other times we have taken advantage of the low interest rate environment that we're currently in. And when we refinance, our old mortgage gets paid off. Well, just make sure that the discharge finds its way to the registry. So we have information about what a mortgage discharge is and why it's important to make sure when you do get that loan paid off that there is a discharge that you secure from the lender. Sometimes the lender says they send it to the bank, and they're getting better. You know, the Attorney General's office has really put it to the lenders to make sure, as has the legislature, passing statutes that say you must get these discharges, do a better job getting them to the registry. But it's still the burden, I think, is on the consumer. So sometimes the banks send it directly to you, and we've seen people weren't even aware that what a discharge was, never mind that they had to get it to the registry to record. So we have information on our website about consumer issues such as what a mortgage discharge is and why it's important to know what it is so that you can take steps that when it comes to you, or you check up on the bank to make sure that it's been recorded so it tells the world that that mortgage has been paid off. Another very important section under services is the Consumer Notification Service. And there's information on it. The FBI says one of the fastest growing white-collar crimes is property and mortgage fraud. And what we've done at the registry in Norfolk County, and some others have followed, we're the first registry in Massachusetts to do it. There are 21 registries of deeds across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. You can sign up and get an email so that if something in your name gets recorded at the registry, you get an email. And when I sign up, my name is William Patrick O'Donnell, but I get any William O'Donnell documents, I get an email, and I check that email. Now, so far so good. We're not going to prevent fraud. I want to make sure people realize that this, what we're looking at here now, Consumer Notification Service, does...
Well, it's just that. It's notification.
Yes, it doesn't prevent the fraud, but what it does is you get an email. And some people are good on the computer. They can check and check and see. And, oh, that has nothing to do with me. That's William J. O'Donnell or William T. O'Donnell. That has happened in my case a lot of times, different middle initials. But there might be a time where I look at this Consumer Notification Service notification, and all of a sudden, wait a minute, that's a deed to my house, or that looks like a mortgage, but I didn't sign it. Now, I haven't prevented any fraud, and I haven't, seen it here in Norfolk County, but it is coming. It is coming in other jurisdictions. It's been in Los Angeles. It's been in Philadelphia. It's been in Chicago. So we haven't prevented the fraud, but we now have links to the law enforcement authorities in Norfolk County that you can get on it, or you might want to secure your own attorney to take steps to kind of start attacking the fraud. And most people don't have the opportunity to, or even think to check on their mortgage.
Well, I see it as awareness.
Yeah, very much so. As I said, most people don't check. Once the deed and the mortgage gets recorded, no one checks. You've left it to the professionals. But in this case, we don't check our titles, but at least we get a notice, and you're aware. And again, it's a free service. We don't pressure people to sign up, but it's well worth considering, especially when, as I said, the FBI points out that there's a lot of fraud going on with property. And if you're not great on the computer, one thing I'm very proud of, at the Norfolk Registry of Deeds, we started a customer service center a long time ago. So if you call our number, 781-461-6101, there is a staff there. They have the computers. They try to help people out and give people information. So if you have some questions about anything, feel free to call. When you go on our website, I hit the services button. Oh, and under the website, and again, when I first started, we didn't get all this information out on the website. In fact, we're very proud of the internet land record research we have in Norfolk County, and it didn't happen overnight. We're back to 1793, and we'll get a little bit about the online research, but the internet component really was driven by the professionals, because at the registry, it's really about, we're a component of the real estate economy. And lawyers, title examiners, real estate brokers, lenders, appraisers, and home inspectors. There's so many groups that intersect at the Registry of Deeds. So when we were changing things up and going from paper to the internet, we were trying to bring the registry's records into people's homes and businesses. And with the fast-paced economy that we had, people were thrilled with it. So it's really geared, or a lot of the information is geared to the professionals. They're the ones that are involved in trying to close the house, and tremendously busy place. We're in real estate is up. The monies that are being collected from deeds excise is up. In all our communities, there is a strength in Norfolk County. People want to live in Norfolk County. So the information that's on the website really is for the professionals. But if you've noticed under services, we have a little site here for genealogy. And that's something that we've seen more and more of lately. People want to learn what's out there. Maybe I had relatives in Norfolk County. So there's been a lot of genealogical and historical looks at the registry, and we've tried to make the registry relevant in that regard, recognizing some people don't really care what's the meaning of that deed as far as a $1 million transaction that's taking place in Norfolk County. They're looking at these old deeds to see who lived in their house back in 1793. In some of the deeds, they list everything in the house, so you can get a sense from 1820 what was in a house as far as the transaction.
And there have been some famous people that have lived in Norfolk County.
Yes, and in Quincy, we have 2 presidents, but there were 4 presidents born in Norfolk County: John Adams and John Quincy Adams, from Quincy or Braintree, depending on where you're living, and John F. Kennedy was born in Brookline, and George Herbert Walker Bush, George Bush Sr., was born in Milton. So we have 4 presidents. And one of the things that I'm very proud of when we get to the online research part, we're talking genealogy and the sense of history, but we've tried to make these documents come alive, because from 1793 to 1900, the documents were handwritten out. The scriveners would handwrite out all the documents. And that's the legal record, and you can view those documents. But we transcribed all those documents from 1793 to 1900, over 450,000 documents. So the reason why I mention it now as opposed to under the online research is anyone that's interested in genealogy should realize we've tried to make these records relevant to you. Yes, the lawyers like that we transcribed it. In fact, a lot of them say, wow, it really has helped us do our legal research. But we hear more and more from people doing genealogical and historical research. As a matter of fact, we got a letter from David McCulloch, who was a history buff author, commenting on how the documents were transcribed. So that ties into genealogy and why it's important. In the sense of history, there's actually a deed from John Adams, the second president of the United States, first vice president, to John Quincy Adams, the 6th president of the United States. A deed that's actually recorded at the Registry of Deeds that you can view. So under this services banner, and you can see under it, it's part of our information-based website. There's plenty there. And under support, I would be remiss if I didn't at least talk a little bit about the support banner, because under it, as you can see, are some information. Some of it is related to document checklist and things that the lawyers might be interested in. But we have a glossary of terms. And, people, just might not know what the terms are. So we have a glossary of terms that you can go through that's very detailed. And then we also have frequently asked questions. Some of it deals with the, day-to-day sense of what you do at the registry. Some people might want to print documents, so they set up an online research they have an online research question. We do a lot of community outreach. What are the Norfolk County food pantry locations? That's a question. So some of it is related to real estate. Some of it is consumer driven. And I'd have to say, under support, one of the buttons that I think you should explore is we have information on foreclosure assistance and first-time home buyers and more. People struggle with foreclosure. We've been very fortunate in Norfolk County. We've partnered up with Queen City Community Action Programs, NeighborWorks Housing Solutions, as well as the Attorney General's Office. But there is a lot of information that we have on our website. If you know anyone that falls into that category, they may need some counseling, they may need some help, please go to our website at www.norfolkdeeds.org. Hit the support banner across the top and look for that button for foreclosure assistance, first-time home buyers, and more, because there is information out there. So we've tried to, on the website, give as much information as we can. But please remember, we have a customer service department at 781-461-6101. My father, unfortunately, has passed away, but he climbed poles for the Boston Edison for 38 years. And when you're talking about what you're doing at work, he was the one that said, remember, not all of us care to know anything about computers or want to know anything about computers. You really should have a place that people can call up or go to. And that was the kind of genesis of our customer service department, and we're very proud of it, to try to, again, recognizing that even if you have some skills on the website, you might have further questions. So please feel free to call our customer service center, or you can email me at registerodonnell@norfolkdeeds.org.
Yes, that also sounds like my mother as far as the computer use. She'd rather not. She would rather deal with someone on the other line, on the other end of a phone line, or certainly visit the place that she's dealing with. And of course, the Norfolk Deeds physically, again, has a building, and people are welcome to do that. Yes,
it's a beautiful, as I said, historic building at 649 High Street in Dedham. Again, that's where it's been. That's what we're talking about, everything online back to 1793. We have books. When I started as registrar, it was book 17,000. We're over book 38,600. So that's on the registry side or recorded land side. There's two types of land. And again, that's in the glossary of terms. You can learn about what the recorded land side is. As I said, over 38,600 books, and that doesn't count the indexes. We've indexed all that information. Again, it's all available, and we will get to it on what's on the computer. But on the land court side, the land court was started in Norfolk County. There were statutes in 1899, and the first documents and the first entries were 1900 in Norfolk County. There's over 1 million documents recorded in the land court. And again, people who own land, registered land, it's in a certificate of title there, and we have those books physically at the registry. The good news is the website acts as a vehicle into all those books, and you can look up all this information. One of the banners is news and events, and if people are interested in news and announcements, and I'm most proud of that banner in a way, because what we try to do with the registry, we have relationships. We've done food drives, we've done Toys for Tots, we've done soup collections, and it has under that banner some of the information about our Norfolk County food pantries, the Suits for Success, where we go to the veterans, or the Interfaith Social Services here in Quincy, or Father Bill's place. Suits, we had a Boston, an inner city weightlifting, where they deal with inner city problems through weightlifting and weight training, but they need soup coats and clothes and things like that to get people interviewed. We have a relationship with New Life Furniture Bank of Massachusetts. So that's under news and events. I just pointing that out because we do try to raise a consciousness in the community and try to help people out. But I was hitting that button to tell people you could sign up for Registry News. Some people, we send information out on the homestead or the mortgages or just things that are going on. It's again, no obligation. But if you go to news and events, you can see we have news and announcements, but you can sign up for Registry News, and you can see that beautiful picture of the Registry of Deeds there, and you can just sign up and get information sent to you, and do with it what you want. But we find a lot of people who aren't professionals, who are just regular people, stop me when they see me and say, no, I signed up for the newsletter. I love getting the information. I love seeing the statistics, and again, we have more detailed statistics on the website that you can look up if you maneuver through our website. But the newsletter points out, it has some of the statistics and other information-based info for people to look at.
And I think really it's all about accessibility.
Yeah, we have tried to make the registry accessible, and that was one of the reasons we did community outreach. In the 28 communities in Norfolk County, every whether it was a select board or the mayors or some of the towns are run by town councils, they've been wonderful in allowing us to have space at the various town halls to go around and bring our computers and be there for people. We have tried to bring the registry's records into people's homes and businesses and into the communities. So when you say accessibility, we're trying to make it accessible for people on their own, but we're also trying to make it easier for them when we go out to the communities. And we have also gone and spoken at community groups. We've spoken at the community senior centers all around the county. And it's not just to speak about the registry, but it's also to bring the computers where people say, hey, could I have a copy of my deed? I don't know if my mortgage was paid off 20 years ago, but I don't know if the discharge was recorded. We might talk about homestead and why somebody who owns a principal residence should record a homestead, and they'll say, could you look it up? I don't even know if I have one. Sometimes they do, and they forgot about it, and we just give them a copy, and we go from there. So we do try to make it very accessible, and I'm hitting the button now, online research, because we have tried to make the registry's books and the documents, these millions of images, available to anybody. So if you go to the online research button, we have accessibility. We're very proud. I'd have to say one of the best achievements we've done in my 10 years Registry of Deeds was to have internet land record research. So, the whole internet was coming along, and you have a website, and the website starts as, information-based and giving people information. But this vehicle also allowed us, because of the advances in technology, to now put all that information in the hands of the consumer, who from a computer can look it all up. So if you hit online research, there's a tutorial of how to begin, and you could just search for your deed. We try to make it easier. At the bottom, it's a search for your deed. Some people just want that rather than go through all the bells and whistles. They're just interested in the deed to their house. And what is a deed? When you bought your property, the sellers provided a deed. The closing attorney, who usually is involved from the bank perspective, because most of us have to borrow money to buy our and purchase our homes, reviews the deed and is in charge of getting the deed to the registry, and that's what gives you ownership of your property. So you can search for your deed. I'm going to hit the Begin Online Research button, and you can see it comes up. You can search by name or address, and I want to point out, we went back to 1793. Not a lot of addresses back then. We have tried to work our way. So if you enter an address and it doesn't come out, the system is based on names. because actually they weren't even required to put addresses on deeds until 1969.
Really?
So, and think about it, a lot of the properties was down by the river, down by the tree, down by the stone fence. So it's really driven by names. And you can see it says search registry records. You can search land court records. Remember, I talked about the differences between recorded land, which is about 80% of Norfolk County registry records, or land court. So again, there's a lot of information there. If you hit, and you can see down below, we have the search for your deed, which tries to streamline things just to focus on your deed. But and again, we find a lot of people like the more complicated search by name, and you can enter your name, and you could see the first button is registry records. But maybe your property is land court records. So if you search registry records and you can't find your name, and we see that sometimes, don't panic. Your home is still somewhere. You have to then go to the land court records, which is the 20% of Norfolk County is in land court records. And we have accessibility to registry plans and land court plans. So you can see there's a wealth of information there. So a lot of it's by name, and you could just enter the name. And
in the last few minutes, I know we only have about 3 minutes left. What else could you show us?
Well, one thing I'm proud of, book and page. I'm going to enter book 1, page 1, because our documents go back to 1793. And this gives you an abstract of the first deed. Actually, what we're seeing right now is the transcribed image. So you can view the written image, but as you can see, I mentioned our commitment to history. We want history to come alive, and we can't know our history if you can't read it. It was hard to read those documents. We have transcribed those documents. So there's a lot of information there on the website, and again, feel free to do it yourself. And we recognize people are doing more genealogical and historical research, and people just want to check their own title too. But the registry is an arm of government people don't know about. Again, as register, it's been a privilege. It's a privilege to serve the residents, and please take advantage of the information that is just there a click away at www.norfolkdeeds.org.
And of course, we did also see a contact tab if folks do want to get in touch with someone and speak to them on the phone.
Oh, yes. As I said, customer service 781-461-6101, or email me at registerodonnell@norfolkdeeds.org.
Well, I want to thank you for coming in and giving us and giving certainly the residents at home a show and tell of the Norfolk County Registry of Deeds.
Thank you. It's great. This information is great, and hopefully people will be able to use it.
Great. Well, until the next episode, take care, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you at home for watching. Please continue to watch Local Access Television for locally produced programming.